The U.S. Navy sailor who fell to his death on board the USS Nimitz has been identified. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Alicia Summers. The accident happened Friday night at Naval Air Station North Island. Authorities say the 21-year-old fell from one of the elevators used to move aircraft from the flight deck to the internal hangar. News 8's Kelly Hessedal joins us now live from Coronado with the sailor's identity and how the Navy is responding. Kelly?
Yeah, and Alicia, certainly a difficult day for those on board the USS Nimitz. The identity of that sailor was released just a short time ago. Go ahead and take a look at a photo of the 21-year-old. He has been identified as Logistics Specialist Seaman Juan Jose Garcia Herrera. He's from Chicago. The Navy says he died from injuries he suffered after falling from an aircraft elevator. Now, the Navy has not released any further details on what led up to his fall or the circumstances. The Navy tweeted about the incident yesterday. We do know he fell Friday, was rushed to the hospital, and passed away early Saturday morning. Now, Garcia Herrera reported aboard the USS Nimitz in June of 2017. He deployed aboard Nimitz in support of Operation Inherent Resolve later that year. Now, we did talk to Commander Ron Flanders about this tragedy earlier today.
Losing a shipmate is always a very difficult time, and much of the crew is grieving this sailor's loss.
And on social media, people are posting their condolences. The Navy says the accident remains under investigation and that funeral services are pending.